Yes, good morning once again, and we welcome you to Health Matter, where we take discuss everything where they related to health issue. Most definitely, we won't derail from what the globe is talking about. That is the global trending issue, which is COVID-19. COVID-19, the disease we be say Dr. Ba don't take us through how the thing they do people, the symptoms and everything. Yet we are not done with it, and we'll still have to speak extensively on it again today until we overcome. So on that premise, I say good morning, sir, and you're welcome
Good
to the
morning.
show.
Good morning, Chief.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm fine, thank you.
How are the patients doing?
We thank God.
Okay.
They're doing very good.
Where are we going today?
Yeah, we'll be continuing with a topic that we started some few months ago. Coronavirus pandemic is a topic. And I must be honest with you, there are a lot of concerted efforts that are ongoing in several countries of the world. As we speak, a total of over 3 million persons, individuals, 3.4 million individuals have been affected on a global scale. Okay? And of course, earlier hours of this morning, we discovered that Nigeria has recorded 238 additional cases. As a matter of fact, in the last couple of days, it was 195, and then the next day, it was 196. And the third day afterwards, it went to 204, and today we have figures that are on the north of 200 again. So somebody will begin to ask, what is going on? We actually went through a lockdown that lasted for a little over a month. Is it that we don't have any benefits from the lockdown that we embarked upon? Of course, the answer is no. We actually recorded a number of benefits. Number one, I can tell you that with the lockdown, it afforded us opportunity to ramp up our capacities in terms of testing, in terms of treatment, in terms of increasing the number of bed spaces we have in various isolation centers that are scattered all over Nigeria. And at the moment, I can tell you that Nigeria has more than 3,500 bed spaces. And of course, I do know that Lagos State added to it over the night. But that is hardly enough. Now, if you look at the number of people that are currently affected in Nigeria, currently we have about 2,170 individuals that are currently infected in Nigeria. Also, if you take away the number of people who have been discharged and the number of fatalities that we have, which is currently 68, yes, we have that being shown on our screen. Now, if you subtract the number of people that have been discharged from the number of deaths that occurred in Nigeria, you'll be having above 1,171 or thereabout, if my calculation is anything to go by. Now, what that means is that in another 1 or 2 weeks, we may have these figures doubling. It could be below. So what do we have to do to ensure that we're able to flatten the curve? I can tell you this curve is not anything close to flattening at the moment. With what we are seeing, it is increasing steeply. It's not yet flattening. And when you want to put into view the fact that in another few days' time, everybody will be on the street again, coupled with the fact that a good number of us have refused, a good number of Nigerians, a good number of people in our population, not just Nigerians, have actually refused to obey the government directive. It's sad enough. You still see people, in spite of all that have been said, you still see people not adhering strictly to those preventive measures that we have enumerated or that have been enumerated countless number of times in various platforms by a number of individuals. You still see that people are refusing to put on face masks. Lagos State is leading the battle. Of course, we do know that we now have Mask Up Lagos leading the battle. A number of other states too have done the same. On the national level too, the federal government has admonished that each and every one of us should start using face masks along other preventive measures. Not just the use of face mask in isolation, you still need to constantly wash your hands. And I can tell you it's even beyond washing one's hand. Some of the things that we're seeing in China, we have to start implementing them in Nigeria today. I can tell you that at a time, they had to be sterilizing their currencies in Wuhan. Yes, currency notes, they had to be sterilizing. In some cases, they were even destroying it. So it's fast getting to a level, when you receive money from someone, you need to sterilize your hands afterwards. It's fast getting to a level where we don't have to be putting currency notes in our pockets. When I mean pocket, I mean the pockets in our clothes, in our trousers, on our shirt. Because that can be a means of transmitting this infection. You may not know if somebody who has disease has sneezed or probably coughed on top of those notes. And by the time they're exchanging hands from one person to the other, you can easily pick the infection. That is why our Lagos State government is admonishing that people henceforth should start putting not just the face mask, you start also wearing gloves. So by so doing, we're getting to a level where we have to find a way, or probably getting a pause where we can be putting our currencies. There's a lot to be done in terms of what we need to do to keep ourselves protected. I must be honest with you, going by the figures that we are getting now, it is obvious that the battle is becoming fiercer by the day. The struggle is also increasing. Government agencies, the federal government is also trying to ramp up capacities in area of testing and a whole lot of other things that are currently being done. But it behoves on you and I to do those ones that are required of us. We need to, number one, we talked about before, we need to put on face masks once we're outside our homes. You need to constantly wash our hands at all times. In situations where you are unable to reach or to probably get water to wash your hand, you can make do with sanitizing your hand. A hand rub or a sanitizer that has at least more than 70% of alcohol by volume will be all you need at all times. Other than that, what else do you need to do? You need to disinfect surfaces around you, your table in the office, your door handles, your car handles, your steering, a whole lot of things. I must be honest with you, we have to start getting used to our new normal. That is the honest truth. Social distancing is in the equation. We have to start getting used to our new normal. When I sat down to think about what will the post-COVID era be, you discover that a number of things are going to change. Look at our stadium. The seating capacities are bound to be reduced so that they can have enough space between one person and the other. The same thing will have to happen in a number of places. Movie centers, theaters, churches, mosques, and what have you. A whole lot are beginning to change about our lives. And I can tell you it's not going to be the same anymore. So coronaviruses, like we have said before, is a large family of viruses. Okay, but the one that is troubling and ravaging the whole world is actually the one that is called COVID-19. The causative organism is also a virus, and it's called SARS-CoV-2. In history, we have seen a number of viruses, some of them virulent, some of them will cause just mild disease, like common cold that you and I have that can easily go away. But this one is a totally new, different case. Novel coronavirus ravaging the world, ravaging the communities. Even the best of centers in the world, hospitals, in a number of developed countries are struggling to contend this infection. How much more Nigeria? So what we have at the moment, what we need to do at the individual level, we need to step up our game. At the government level, we need to step up our isolation centers. We are fast getting to a level where we could have a number of people, the number of people that are infected will by far surpass the number of available bed spaces, and it's beginning to happen. Only about 2 days ago, the Director General of our NCDC actually said that Lagos State is actually struggling for isolation bed spaces. Have you thought of what will happen? When we get to a stage when we have the number of infected people will by far surpass the number of available bed spaces. They will have no other places to go, probably than to stay in their houses. Have you imagined that? In this type of accommodation that we have in Nigeria, where we have face me, I face you arrangement, is better not imagined. So a whole lot still depends on our government. We need to step up our game. I must be honest with you, it is not just, it's not all doom and gloom. There are also some areas of good news that are coming our way. For instance, just yesterday we were updated during the PTF briefing by the WHO country representative, Dr. Fiona, in Abuja yesterday. So she told us that currently about 89 vaccine candidates are in various stages of development. 89 vaccine candidates. And out of these 89, about 7 of them have gotten to the level of clinical evaluation. Also, during the week, we got also another encouraging information and encouraging good news that in the U.S., coming from a well-respected epidemiologist in the U.S., talking about Dr. Anthony Fauci. He also said that going by the ongoing clinical trials with a number of therapeutics, that remdesivir, a drug that was discovered or that came out about 4 years ago that was meant for the treatment of Ebola but was repurposed for trials in COVID-19, that has given some very encouraging results. So we are hoping, I know distant time, the world may have a solution to those problems. Until we do that, you and I still need to do our bit while our government is doing what they need to do to step up the game and contain this scourge.
Okay, thank you very much for the lovely delivery of that from Dr. Bat. We really appreciate it. I think the very next thing now is to go on this break. Once we are back from the break, a lot of questions are here vis-a-vis the one you want to ask at home. Anyone where they do your mind, feel free. Dr. Bat, they make use of this opportunity. Most definitely, he will give you the answer where you need. So let's go on this break. Health Matter, we'll be right back. Please go nowhere.
Health matter na serious matter o. That na why we dey always get Dr. Bat Ufegbunam every Saturday to come teach us and enlighten us on top we health matter. You fit also advertise your product and services on top we show where dey help people. Terms and conditions apply sha o.
Wet your hands with water. Apply soap. Rub your hands palm to palm and wash the backs of both hands and in between your fingers. Then palm to palm with fingers interlocked. Clasp your hands together and rub. And then clean around the thumbs too. Rub your fingertips in the palms of your hands and finish off with the wrists. Rinse your hands really well with water and dry them thoroughly with a paper towel. Use the towel to turn off the tap. Your hands are now clean.
Yes, you're welcome back to the show. And our phone lines are open for your questions. Yes, the numbers are on your screen. Feel free, call, but please reduce the volume on your TV set so that we can enjoy or have a smooth conversation. I'll start like this, Dr. Bat. Let me start from where you stopped. Speaking about the research communities, that is, people where they help us find solution for this thing. We've heard from Oxford scientists. We've heard from a lot of people. But in today's paper, a leading pharmacist in Nigeria, Ben Amodu, claimed that, yes, he is actually working on this at the front page of the Saturday Tribune, working on the solution for COVID-19, or possibly that he has a cure for it. So this is my question, or these are my questions. One, Dr. Bat, how far are we looking inward? Inward now means driving it home. China actually drove it home. We've seen a lot of posts from Madagascar and everything. How far are we looking inward, sir? to find a cure for this COVID-19, or are we saying that we don't have enough pharmacists that can actually get something out of our lives here? That's one. Number two, sir, give and take from the research communities on the development of vaccine. How long do you think we are going to wait? Are we waiting till December? I just spill the doom. Are we waiting till December, sir?
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me start with the first one. Now we have researchers. It's not true that we don't have researchers in Nigeria. We have scientific researchers in Nigeria. It's also true that Nigeria is currently working so hard to get an indigenous solution. As a matter of fact, a number of Nigerians have actually come out to say that they've actually discovered the cure for COVID-19. You and I must have heard about Professor Iwu's claim. I want to believe that anytime soon, the government will look at what it's doing with a view of seeing how it can be subjected to scientific evaluation, because it's not just for someone to come up and say, I have found a cure, okay? Now, the therapeutics that are currently being repurposed. Now, what repurposed means is that a drug that has been made, a drug that has been in existence, just like chloroquine, okay, which of course we know that we use it to treat malaria and a number of other diseases, specifically autoimmune disease, okay, and malaria. Now, that drug is now being channeled, is an off-label use. Okay. They are now such a drug is now undergoing trial to see if it is efficacious in the treatment of COVID-19. So is also remdesivir, the drug I mentioned a while ago. Okay. It was originally developed for treatment of Ebola. That was some 4 years ago. But today is about the one with the best of chances, if I want to put it that way.
Sorry, sir, let me hold you a bit. Ismail, good morning. How are you doing, Ismail?
I'm fine.
Yeah, our doctor is here. Please go on with your question.
Okay. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning, my brother.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Nice
I'm fine, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, my question is that by the presidential guidelines for the use of the law.
We lost that. Please call us back, Ismail. So you were talking about remdesivir, sir.
Yeah, remdesivir was touted to be the most promising of all the other therapeutics that are currently undergoing trial. As a matter of fact, they've gotten good results in US and a number of other centers. Let me also say it at this time that WHO sometime last month initiated a drug trial that was termed Solidarity. And as we speak, going by the information that we obtained from Dr. Fiona, WHO country representative yesterday, that about 100 countries in the world have actually keyed into that research of those 4 drugs, 4 therapeutics. And of course, Nigeria is about joining the fray, okay, in trying to carry out clinical trials using those drugs. So now a drug trial usually will undergo several processes, several phases, to undergo through several phases. So it's not something that could come out in weeks or months. Oftentimes it may take years, up to a year. Now, coming down to vaccine that you talked about, okay, I'm not happy with the events that are playing out on the social media. People are beginning to create a form of impression that vaccines are being used for ulterior motives. We do know that over the years, for several decades, the use of vaccine in Africa and a number of other countries globally have helped to save millions of lives. Yes. Talking about vaccination for meningitis, vaccination for hepatitis B, vaccination for measles, and a number of other diseases. But they're beginning to...
Sorry, sir, let's hold you a bit. Ogechi, good morning. Good morning, Ogechi. Good morning, Ogechi. If you are there, let us know. Ogechi, you there? Okay,
so
thank you.
They are beginning to create a form of bias in people's mind. So we may come to a situation where even when WHO probably pre-qualifies a vaccine, you may have a situation where people will begin to distance themselves from such vaccination exercise. And that won't go well for the country.
Sure.
I must be honest with you, with what is happening now, the best thing for us to have done as a country is for us to have continued with the lockdown. But there are other considerations that government must have looked at, talking about the economic consideration and other things. And of course, they discovered that it may not be Nigeria may not be able to sustain the lockdown for a much longer period than we have actually done.
Maybe that's why they did the May 4.
Yes, much longer than we've actually done. That is why they are trying to gradually open up so that life can start coming back. But I can tell you, in places where they have the financial wherewithal, where they have a very stable economy, like China, for instance, Wuhan was on lockdown for 76 days. Wuhan was on lockdown for a total of 76 days. That's 2 months getting into a third month before they were able to come out of it. And you can see what happened in those places. The numbers kept climbing, and of course, it got to a level. The curve started, they were able to flatten the curve. That is the ideal situation that a lot of us would have loved to see happen in Nigeria. But alas, what we have now is that we are trying to ease the lockdown, and the numbers are increasing astronomically. Remember, we had 195. The next day it was 196, and then it climbed to 204. And yesterday it jumped to 238. If it continues like this, we may have over 3,000 in the next couple of weeks. And of course, that will not go well for the country. Keeping in mind what will happen by the time we have a number of infected individuals going beyond the available bed spaces we have on all the isolation centers we have in the country. Currently, we have about 3,500 bed spaces. A little above that, because I do know that Lagos State added to it over the night. Okay. That is hardly enough.
Okay, Dr. Bat, let's quickly take Abigail from Rivers. Good morning, Abigail.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Please, straight to your question. The doctor is here.
Okay, please, if someone is having sore throat or your throat is crashing you, does it mean that you've contacted this coronavirus?
No. Thank you very much. As a matter of fact, you don't have to take a symptom in isolation. Now, the major symptoms for coronavirus are actually 3 of them. Okay, one is fever. Most people that will have coronavirus will end up having fever. Apart from fever, they may have dry cough. And of course, shortness of breath or difficulty in breathing. Those are the 3 major signs and symptoms of coronavirus. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Now, coming back to your vaccine, because we are not done with the vaccine.
Okay, but I'd like to quickly ask this. I don't want to forget because it's very quintessential. We got it from a viewer. The question now is, a lot of people are using the gun thing, that's a temperature gun thing.
Yes, thermometer. Non-contact thermometer.
Because that's what they can afford. So, sir, what is the normal temperature that non-contact thermometer should read for me to know I am safe? Or if somebody wants to come to my house and I use it, what should the thermometer read for me to know that this person's temperature is okay?
Thank you very much. Now, I also have to quickly point out that non-contact thermometer that we have actually has 2 SI units on it. Okay, one is Fahrenheit and the other one is centigrade. Okay, sir. So sometimes people will push it into Fahrenheit and it will give a reading that will go beyond 100. That will frighten them.
Sorry, sir.
We'll
John,
come back
good
to your
morning.
question.
Okay, sir. John, good morning.
Good morning, doctor.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, I'm participating with you in this program, and my question is this, doctor.
And with you, go ahead, sir.
Can you hear me, doctor?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead, sir.
What I mean is this virus we're still talking about. You know, the fear of people not trying to take this medication or maybe what they're bringing from the WHO. The information on ground has been that some of these vaccines they are bringing.
Go ahead, sir.
Tell us if you know, please.
Yes. We have information that we don't know, and I think the government is not trying to make us know about it, that some of these vaccines they are bringing, it is to infect Nigerians more. And we believe that if the government want to do things proper, they should be able to enlighten some of the people in the local places, because we are not aware, and even like our children are in school, a lot of men of this vaccine they give them, there are regular information that they will not give back in the future time. So any drug that is coming from, or vaccine from these people, from WHO, we are not convinced about it. In Africa, even in Nigeria, a lot of many people have been able to discover something that can hold or treat the COVID-19. But people don't seem to believe it. Okay, Madagascar president, they have invented a product like this, and the WHO are not trying to reckon with them. I don't know how we're going to help ourselves in Africa.
Still speaking of looking in what I talked about.
Yeah, thank you very much.
John.
Let me start from the vaccine, because I talked briefly on that. Now, I agree with you, there's a widespread apathy towards vaccines. And of course, that's not going to help us as a people. I must be honest with you. The number of diseases that are vaccine preventable, I can mention some of them to you. Okay, hepatitis B is vaccine preventable. If you take the vaccine, you're not going to have it in your lifetime. Okay, ditto for a vaccine like cervical cancer vaccine. Okay, if you take cervical cancer vaccine, you're not going to have cervical cancer in your lifetime if you're a woman. Now, if you're not immunized, if you don't take the vaccine, you'll be predisposed to having this infection in your lifetime. And of course, it comes with a lot of consequences. I must be honest with you, vaccines have been with us for several decades. I don't know where this apathy is coming from at the moment. For instance, Gavi Foundation have been in the sponsorship of vaccination, mass vaccination exercise in a number of countries for several decades, for over 20 years. So I don't know where this apathy is coming from, and that is what we need to guide against. I must also point out that at the moment, there is no vaccine. There is no vaccine that has been validated or pre-qualified by WHO for COVID-19. No vaccine in existence. I'm happy that the WHO country representative was on hand yesterday to allay these fears, to clear grounds on some of the misinformation that have been flying around. I can tell you this morning, I was reading through a blog where I saw that WHO talked about, WHO said Nigeria will join trials for vaccine. The person just intentionally, okay, I may not know if it intentionally, but the person actually misrepresented WHO official who was in Abuja yesterday. What she said was that Nigeria was going to join trials for solidarity, drug trials, therapeutic trials of 4 drugs, not for vaccination. So there are a lot of misinformation that are flying around everywhere, especially in the social media. People are getting more and more confused. At the moment, we were told that 89 vaccine candidates are at various stages of development. About 7 of them have gone further to a level of clinical evaluation. Okay. Now, to also join the question that he asked, we are looking forward that in some months to come, usually this takes years because of the rigorous randomized studies that are involved in vaccine production. It usually takes years, not just months. But several companies that are into vaccine production, that are into research and development, are racing against time to see that a vaccine is discovered in the shortest possible time. WHO also has called on its partners, on its global partners. Just last week, our own Ngozo Konjo-Iweala was made a special envoy to that arrangement. Okay, so I think it was called ACT, okay? Accelerated COVID tools, whatever, something like that. That was the coinage. Now, essentially, what they're trying to do is to ensure that new discoveries, be it on diagnostics, be it on therapeutics, that's drugs, or be it on vaccinations, will be equitably shared among nations of the world. Okay. So the super rich nations or the developed countries of the world will not just corner whatever they make or the scientists are able to push out in the coming months to years. It's going to be equitably. That is the assurance.
Evenly distributed.
Yes, to nations of the world. That is what WHO is telling us. So there are accelerated efforts to see that a vaccine is produced in the shortest possible time. Because what we're having now, except we continue to obey those government directives, I'm afraid COVID-19 has come to stay with us.
We are talking about temperature, sir, Fahrenheit and...
Yes, that is the truth. Okay? Now, coming about temperature, that particular thermometer, non-contact thermometer, usually, depending on what country of the world you're probably located, it has Fahrenheit, and as well it has centigrade. Any temperature that is above 37.5 is regarded as fever. We have Ndukwe from FCT. Good morning, sir.
Ndukwe, good morning.
Good morning, doctor.
Yeah, good morning, my brother.
I want to ask,
Please go ahead.
is it the coronavirus is still existing in Nigeria?
Yes, sir. It's existing in Nigeria, and as we speak, 2,170 persons have been affected.
Then why is it our government telling us to go out?
I didn't get that, sir.
I said, why is our government telling us to go out?
To go out.
Okay. Yes, thank you very much. Yes, I understand what he's trying to point out. Why are we easing the lockdown if we have this thing? Now, the reasons why we're easing the lockdown is that it has left our economy in tatters, not just Nigerian economy, economies of other countries of the world. So government will have to take a whole lot of things, a holistic approach on the whole issue, not just looking at the health indices alone. They have to look at the economy. Can our economy sustain this lockdown for the next 1 or 2 more weeks or additional 1 month? You and I may not be privy to such information. So we want to trust the judgment of those people who have elected or those people who have been appointed to do the work. They have the expertise. They have the training. Okay, so if they're asking us that, yes, we would have loved to continue with the lockdown until the curve flattens out, but if they said it has to be eased for now because of the challenges that may not be seen by you and I on the street, we just have to obey.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Dr. Baz had cleared that we have 37.5 as the normal.
If it goes beyond that, you're talking about temperature. You're talking about fever.
Okay, sir. So the next thing we should be looking at now, Dr. Baz, please, can you quickly differentiate between influenza and COVID-19? Because a caller actually asked that question, so that we'll have a vivid look into what influenza is and what COVID-19 is.
Both of them are disease entities.
Okay.
And I can tell you that COVID-19 is not like any other disease we have seen in history. It's a different disease on its own. Okay? But it belongs to a family of viruses that are called coronaviruses or coronaviridae. Okay? That's the name, the general name. Of course, it's a viral infection that at the moment has got no cure. Okay?
But you told us all viral infections are self-limiting, sir.
I didn't say all viral infections are self. I couldn't have said so.
Okay, but you told us
viral infections are self-limiting.
Apologies, sir.
Okay,
Apologies.
so of course HIV is a viral infection.
Wow.
It's not self-limiting.
Wow.
Hepatitis B infection is a viral infection. Of course, it's not self-limiting.
Sorry, sir. Let's take Raymond
from
Good morning. Raymond, how are you doing?
I'm fine.
Yeah, please, straight to your question. Our doctor is here.
Yes, but I'm okay. Mommy. Yes, Doc, good morning.
Good morning, my brother. How are you today?
Okay. Yes, my question is very, very simple, Doc.
Go ahead.
For instance, you must have had the Europeans. I'm very good. You must have had the Europeans planning to ease their lockdown.
Come May 3rd for America.
Yes, my brother. Go ahead with your question. I'm all ears.
Okay. So,
it is loud. Your volume is loud.
okay. And at this moment, Nigeria is also. My brother, go ahead with your question.
Okay,
now,
thank you
I
very
think
much.
I got his question. Now, the European countries that are planning to ease their lockdown, they are doing that because the clinical evidences they are getting are in support of easing the lockdown. For instance, I will give you, they've been able to flatten the curve. Not just flatten the curve is beginning to slope downwards.
Does that include New York too, sir?
No, of course, America is not part of European countries.
Yeah.
So they are still doing the battle of their lives. Okay, look at the figures, for instance. Spain, the new deaths in Spain has come down, has dropped to 269.
Wow.
And of course, Spain was sometime witnessed beyond 2,000 deaths in a single day. But you're seeing what is happening now. Apart from Spain is 281, I beg your pardon, 281 deaths in the last 24 hours. Italy is 269 deaths. France, 218 deaths. Germany, 113 deaths. Turkey, 84 deaths in the last 24 hours. So apart from UK, for instance, that still have 739 deaths in the last 24 hours, some other countries in Europe are beginning to see declining number of fatalities. And of course, as a result of that, they can afford to gradually ease their own lockdown. But that is not the case with US. That is not the case with Nigeria. So, but we have a unique situation, and we want to appreciate that we do know of a truth that circumstances and realities are not the same in some of these countries of the world. We must appreciate our own unique circumstances and realities. If the government is telling us that continuing with the lockdown may not be sustainable, we just have to obey them and look at what protocol, what treatment protocol or what plan they have for us. What you and I need to do is to do our bit by obeying all government adversaries to the letter. If we're able to do that, we'll be able to conquer this battle.
Okay, Doctor, I'll hold you a bit so that we can quickly wrap up. On the conclusively now, what are the things we can do to boost our hormones? Because we know say cure never day.
Hormones or immunity.
Our immunities, I beg your pardon.
Okay, number one, the things we need to do, if you have a pre-existing medical condition, you need to continue your own lockdown. You need to continue your own private lockdown. If you are an elderly, you need to continue your own private lockdown. Okay, I read a news piece that said that the battle is in the hands of Nigerians. It's not a good one, I must be honest with you, to leave the battle in the hands of the populace. That's not a good one to do, but of course, the challenges, the stakes are high. Okay, now, what other things can you do to step up your immunity as an individual? You need to eat healthy.
Okay.
You need to maintain good hygiene in and around your environment, your house, and everything. Then a number of therapeutics can also help. Drugs like vitamin C, among many others.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Bat. It's been a wonderful one from Dr. Bat. I want to say a very big thank you to the CEO, Grace Valley Medical Center. From every one of us here, we say thank you very much. When I stay tuned, wash your hands, sanitize, stay indoors if you have nowhere to go. But most definitely, Slimity is going to come your way 1 to 2 for top 5. So as with the day indoor, we're supposed to see the jolly.
And at all times, you need to wear your face mask. Yes. Mask up, Lagos.
I think that's now a compulsory measure.
Yes, it's mandatory. We have to encourage each other. Any place you see anybody who's not putting on his or her face mask, encourage the person. If you have two, give to your neighbor.
Okay,
that's the way to go.
Share, because when you help your neighbor, you help yourself. And together, we will fight and win on this COVID-19. Chief Oludodo na be my name. And
so we'll see you again next week.
Thank you, sir.